Hello all, welcome back. This is Christabel Dina from Trinity Software. In this video, let us develop a secure password manager that stores and manages passwords, emphasizing encryption and security best practices. So a password manager, also called as a password vault or a password locker, is actually a program which stores usernames and passwords for multiple applications securely. So in our project, we are going to store the password securely in encrypted format in a text file. Let's start writing the code. Import the required models. We are going to develop an app. So we will be making use of tkinter model. From tkinter, import everything. And also from tkinter, import message box as MB to display the results to the user. Okay. So right now these two modules are enough. So let us create root window by the statement root is equal to tk. Then configure the width and height by using the geometry method. We make the width and height as 450 cross 450. And then I'm setting the background color also. Root.configure bg. So we have set the root window. Inside this root window, I'm going to create two frames, F1 and F2. In the frame F1, I'm going to place the username and password labels and the entry widgets. Okay. So I have created the frame F1 inside the root window, used grid method to place it at the exact position. The label 1 contains the username and E1 is the entry widget to enter the username. Similarly, label 2 displays password and E2 represents the entry widget to password. So here I have used show attribute. Show is equal to asterisk so that you can make the password entry that echoes each character as an asterisk. Then we are going to have various operations with the password manager. For all those operations, I'm going to create 5 different buttons in frame F2. Frame F2 is placed in the root window. I have set the background color for frame F2. Inside this, I have 5 buttons. Button 6 is to exit. So that is placed in the root window. Okay. What we are going to do with these buttons? First one is generate a password, which is strong and long. And then we need to save the password inside the password manager. Get password is to retrieve a particular password for the entered username. Show all means that it should list out all the username and password entries of the password manager or password vault. And if you want to delete a particular username password entry, you can make use of this delete option. And finally, to come out of the app, you can just give exit. So in order to make this work, we have to call this method root.main loop. Okay. For all these operations, we need to write the function. So the function I have not yet defined. So we can define the function here. We have to define generate method. Right now, to check the layout, let me just give pass alone. And then to save the password, add method. And then to retrieve the password for a particular username, use this retrieve method. For show all, I have called the method called getList. So I am defining getList method. And finally, delete method is defined. Okay, now let's execute this one. So we got the layout, the labels and the entry widgets, and we have 5 buttons. Right now, none of the buttons will work. We will just exit. Okay. As I have already said, we are going to encrypt the password and place it in a text file, that is username and encrypted password. So for this, we are going to use a package called cryptography. You should install that package in the command prompt using pip install cryptography. After installing, you can just import this from cryptography.fernet module, importing the fernet class. So this fernet is actually an implementation of secret key authenticated cryptography. Fernet module has inbuilt functions for generating a key. For encrypting a plain text to ciphertext, we have the encrypt method, and to decrypt the ciphertext to plain text, we have a decrypt method. This fernet is built on standard cryptographic primitives. For symmetric cryptography, it uses AES in CBC mode with 128-bit key for encryption, and for authentication, it uses HMAC using SHA-256. Okay. Enough with the theory part. Now actually we need to create the key. Make sure that the first time when you execute the program only the key should be created. It should not be created every time. So I'm going to create a key and keep that key in some safe place. Okay. Let me store it in a secret.key file. We'll just check if that file exists or not. If it doesn't exist, first time alone you are going to generate the key. Okay. So if not, os.path.exist. It will just check whether the file name is present or not. So in order to use this, we need to import os. So check whether this file exists or not. Secret.key. If it doesn't exist, we are going to generate the key. To generate the key, we will be making use of the class method generate key. Fernet.generate key. So key is generated only the first time. After the first time, when you execute the program, the key should not be generated. So you can just place this in the file called secret.key. So with open secret.key file itself, WB mode, that is write in binary mode as file object kf, and then write the key to this file kf.write of key. So the key is placed safely in the secret.key file. Okay. To make use of the key, we need to load the key every time. So let's write a function called load key. So we open that secret.key file in read mode and we are going to read the contents. So that will be returned by this function. So I will write it in a single line itself. Return open. The file name is secret.key. Opening this in read binary mode and then calling the function read. Okay, now we need to write the code for encrypting the password. Encrypt underscore password. So this will take password as an argument. User will be entering the password that should be encrypted, right? For this, initialize an object for Fernet. So fe is equal to Fernet by passing the key as an argument. So key will be present in this secret.key file that can be loaded using this function load underscore key. Okay. So using this we are going to encrypt, that is fe.encrypt password. So this encode method will convert the string to bytes. Password will be in the form of string. It should be converted to bytes, right? So I'm using password.encode method. Store this in a variable enc underscore pass. After that, when we return, it should be converted back to string. So we're calling the decode method. Okay. Then we can write the code for decrypt password. Here we need to pass the encrypted password as an argument. Both for encryption and decryption, we need that key. F is equal to Fernet of load key. Okay. Here we'll call the decrypt method. Fe dot decrypt method. Encrypted password. It should be encoded. Dot decode method. Converting from bytes to string. Fine. Now let's start writing the code for generating a password. We are going to enter the username and the password should be generated by the system. It should be a safe and secure password. Okay, password should be a combination of uppercase characters, lowercase characters and digits. For that, I'm going to import two modules, that is string. In the string module, you'll be having this ASCII characters and another module called secrets module. Secrets module is to generate cryptographically secure random numbers. Okay, create a string which contains both alphabets and numbers. So alphanumeric is equal to string dot. We have three options here: ASCII letters or lowercase and uppercase. Letters contains both lowercase and uppercase, and then string dot digits. Okay, you can also include punctuation, but I prefer the password to contain both the letters and digits alone. It is up to you. Okay, now we need to create the password by using join method. Empty string dot join method. This is going to join the arguments of this join method into a single string. So here we are going to pass secrets modules choice method. The sequence here we are going to pass the string alphanumeric. So this choice method will randomly select one element from this alphanumeric. Okay, this is going to continue for I in range. Specify the password length, that is range of 12. So we'll get a password of length 12. If you want the length to be more, you can just change it here. Okay, so password is generated. After this, we are going to place this password in our layout. We have an entry widget called E2 for entering the password. So whatever the contents present in E2 should be deleted first. So delete from the beginning till the end using this 0, end parameters. Now we are going to insert this password. E2.insert index position starting from 0. What you are going to insert, that is the password should be inserted. Fine. After that, you can just show a message mb.showInfo. The password is generated successfully. So this is the title and password generated is the message. Okay. To save the generated password, we can just call this add method from generate method itself. So once a password is generated, automatically it must be saved in the password manager. So we'll write the code for add also and then we'll check the output. In the add method, we need to retrieve both the username and password. Only then the username password can be stored in the password manager. So username can be obtained from E1 using get method. Password can be obtained from E2. So E2.get method. Even if you are not calling the generate password, you can also manually enter the password in E2. Okay. Now, in order to store this, we should encrypt the password, right? So encrypt the password, enc password equal to call the method which you have defined, encrypt underscore password, and password should be passed as the argument. Fine. Now it's time to place it in the text file, right? If both the username and password is entered, if any of the field is missing, you cannot place it. I'm going to open a text file with open, name it as passwords file dot text, and it should be opened in append mode. So whenever you are adding a new username password entry, it should be appended to the file. Now write those contents, that is username and encrypted password, to this passwords file dot text. F dot write method, give username, then leave a space and then the encrypted password, enc password. After each and every username password entry, you are giving new line. Okay. Then you can just show a message to the user mb.showInfo, password is added. Else means that either the username or password is missing. So you can show an error to the user. mb.showError, error. We don't know which one is missing, so we can just give enter both fields. Fine. So now we have written the code for generating the password and saving the password. Let us execute it. Give the username. So Trinity, this is just an example, trinity@gmail.com. Either you can create your own password or generate the password. So first time, let me generate the password. So password is generated. We got the message. After that, password is automatically saved. Fine. But if you want to show all or get the password, you need to write the code for it. Okay. We can also create our own password. For example, trinity123@yahoo.com, and let me create the password manually and just press save password alone. In that case, password will be added. Okay. So now secret.key file will be generated. Also passwords file.txt also will be present in the same location where this password manager.py file is present. Let's check that passwords file is present. We open this, the username and encrypted password is present, and secret.key file is also present here. Okay, now let us write the code to retrieve the password for the entered username. We need to get the username, use e1.get method. Now create an empty dictionary called password. Then read the password file contents and place it into a list. Okay, so we'll do it in the try except block. So in the try block with open, we are trying to open the passwords file. In order to retrieve the data, it should be opened in read mode as f. Transfer that contents to the list by using this for loop for I in f. For each line in the file, we are going to split that string into a list. So I will place it in j. J is equal to I dot split function. So we have got the list. From the list, we are going to transfer that contents to the dictionary. There will be as many lists as there are username password entries. Okay, I'm going to place it in a dictionary password. That is, password of key will be value. The key is the username, which is present in j of 0, and value will be present in j of 1. That is the encrypted password. So the dictionary contains username and then the encrypted password. Fine. Then we can have the except block. If any error occurs, you just print error occurred. Okay, now check the condition. If the password dictionary contains the elements, it should not be empty. If password, then you can have a message that your password. Now for I in password, iterating over all the keys in the password dictionary. If I equal to username, we have to retrieve that corresponding password. That password will be actually in encrypted format. We need the exact password. So I will just call the decrypt password method here. The encrypted password will be actually present in the dictionary in the form of password of I, right? Save it in a variable dc underscore password. So now password will be present in dc underscore password. Append this with the string message. F string password for the username is decrypted password. Okay, once you have identified the correct username, then just give a break statement. We need not iterate over all the remaining elements in the dictionary. Okay. If not, if you have iterated over all the elements and if you are not able to find out the username, then you can display the message as username which you have entered does not exist. This else is for the for loop. Finally, you can show the information to the user mb dot show info password and the message is mess. Okay, if nothing is present in the password, it means that it's an empty list. No entry is present. mb dot show info password, and I can just say that empty list. No username password entry is present. Okay, in this way we can retrieve the password for the entered username. So we can execute it again. Enter this here, trinity at gmail.com. Get, if you press get password button, it shows password for trinity at gmail.com is the generated password. Okay, we can generate some other password now. Trinity Academy at youtube.com. Okay, instead of generating password, let me just give a password on my own. If you give save password, password is added. Now if you just give the username and get password for Trinity Academy is the password which I have entered manually. Okay. Now we need to write the code for show all and delete function. For show all, the method name is getList. We are going to create a passwords dictionary, empty dictionary. Okay, this part remains the same. So let me copy this. We need not enter the username here. We are going to display all the contents of the passwords file .text. Copy till this. Okay, let me save it as passwords. We are opening the passwords file.txt and we have got the username and encrypted password, the passwords dictionary. So if passwords means we are going to print a message that list of passwords. Since passwords is a dictionary, key comma value can be retrieved for name comma password in passwords dot items method. From this we need to decrypt the password here. After decrypting, let me store it in DC password. Call the function decrypt password of encrypted password. Now you can update the string message plus equal to f string. Give a message that password for the username is decrypted password. Now come out of this for loop and display the message mb.showInfo passwords message string. What if passwords dictionary is empty? There is no username password entry in the password manager. So give an else part mb.showInfo title is passwords empty list. That's it. Fine. Now let's check it again. It should show all the contents. We have 3 username password entries. All the 3 entries have been displayed. Now the last operation to be performed is delete. You can select any one username and press delete button. That particular entry should be deleted. Okay. So we need to retrieve the username. Username is equal to e1.get. Create a temporary list to store the data. So temporary passwords empty list is created. And have one flag variable. The flag is set to 0. If the username which you have entered is wrong, so to identify that, I am setting flag is equal to 0. And then in the try block, I'm opening this passwords file.txt. Read mode as f. Then for I in f, here j is equal to i.split with a single space. Now we are going to transfer all the list contents to the temporary list except the list with entered username as the first element. So in this j list, if the first element j of 0 is not equal to the entered username, in that case you are going to append the elements of that particular list to the temporary passwords list. So temporary passwords dot append method place j of 0, leave a space and j of 1, that is username and password. Okay, so it means that except for the entered username, all the other username password contents will be stored to the temporary passwords. Okay, and also we need to display an error message if the entered username is wrong. So for that purpose, let me use a condition. If username is present in list J, then you are setting flag is equal to 1. It means that you have entered the correct username. Okay, now come out of the with open password file.txt read mode. It means that you have closed the file. Now again we are opening the file in write mode, not in the append mode. It means that all the contents will be erased and then we are going to write it fresh. So passwords file.txt write mode as f. We are going to place the contents of temporary password. So for each line in the temporary password, f.write of I. Okay, so now password manager has been updated. And finally, if flag, it means that username is entered correctly. Show the information to user that username has been deleted successfully. Username is deleted. Else, if flag is not set, means that the username doesn't exist in that list itself. So it display a show error message. Title is error. Username does not exist. And finally, you can give an except block. Print error occurred. That's it. So now let's execute and check our output. So when you press show all, we have 3 entries. Let me create another entry. We give generate password, password generated and added. When you give show all, so now you have 4 entries, right? Let me try to delete trinity123@yahoo.com. trinity123@yahoo.com. Okay, the password, ignore the password entry. If you try to delete it, so that is deleted. And if you list out, only the remaining 3 entries are displayed. Now, if you give a wrong username, trinity@gmail.com, instead of trinity@gmail.com, trinity@gmail.co. Okay, I have missed m at the end. If I am trying to delete, it will show an error. Trinity@gmail.co does not exist. Okay, these are the list of passwords. That's it about password manager. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, kindly share and subscribe.